Hello friends, myself Dr. Nidhi Darbari on My Education Treasure, and today I am going to explain about axiology, meaning and realm. The third branch of philosophy is related to the theory of value and is termed as axiology. Axiology, which stems from two Greek words, axio means value, worth, and logos means reason, theory, symbol, science, or study of. Hence, axiology is the philosophical study of value, and value originally meant the worth of something. In the Western world, the theories of value propounded by Plato, Aristotle, Saint Thomas Aquinas, and Spinoza are significant as foundation of axiology. Axiology asks the question, what is value? Where do values come from? How do we justify our values? How do we know what is valuable? What is the relationship between values and knowledge? What kind of values exist? Can it be demonstrated that one value is better than another? Who benefits from values, etc.? The question of values deals with notion of what a person or a society regards as good or preferable. Axiology, like metaphysics and epistemology, stands at the very foundation of the educational process. A major aspect of education is the development of values, and in that context, the classroom is an axiological theater in which teachers cannot hide their moral selves. By their actions, teachers constantly instruct groups of highly impressionable young people who assimilate and imitate their teachers' value structures to a significant extent. Axiology includes discussion of the nature and then realm of value. This problem is very significant because it determines man's attitude to life. Nature of values. There are four main theories pertaining to the nature of values: the interest theory, the existence theory, the experimental theory, and the part whole theory. The interest theory. This theory refers to the subjective aspect of a person. That is to say, values depend upon the person's interest. If a person desires something, it has value for him. In other words, value do not exist as things apart from the values. The realists are the followers of this theory, and an American professor, Moore, is its leading exponent among the modern realists. All the classical work on axiology has been done by another American philosopher, Perry, in his book General Theory of Values. The existence theory. As against the interest theory, there is the existence theory, which holds that values exist in their own right, irrespective of the values of a person's own interest. Values have foundation in existence. They exist independently in their own right. The idealists believe in the existing theory of value. Wilbur says, I hold that there can be no existence without value, and no value without existence. Reality is neither mental nor material, but realm in which thought and thing, fact and value are inseparable. The experimental theory. The third theory, the experiment theory, has been championed by the pragmatics. The theory holds that only that is of value which yields a great sense of happiness for a person in the present and at the same time promises still more good in future experiences. Hence, there are no permanent values. What may be of value now may not be so at a later date. The part whole theory. Realm of value. From the nature of value, when we come to the realm of value, we confront vast areas: ethics, aesthetics, religion, education, utilitarianism, and society, all of which are related to values. Some important areas are the following: ethics. In ethics, study is done for good and evil and the problems of human conduct, and the ultimate objective of human life are tackled. The worth of living. The first question that can be asked is, what is the worth of living? Different philosophers have given different answers by putting forward positions reflecting optimism, pessimism, and meliorism. Optimism. There are optimists who say that existence is good. This life of ours is really worth living, and that our outlook can be hopeful. The poet Robert Browning portrays this philosophy in his poetry. Many other philosophers have also been of an optimistic temperament. Pessimism. As against optimism, there is the philosophy of pessimism. In this life is treated as evil and not worth living. Thus, the solution is in escaping from living by some means. Schopenhauer is a typical representative of pessimistic strain in philosophy. He regards reality itself as evil. In English literature, novelist Thomas Hardy depicts a life of his character in some novels in such a way that one perceives pessimism in them. An extreme case of pessimism may end in suicide. Meliorism, a compromise between optimism and pessimism, is struck by the meliorist. They believe that the condition of good or evil are not permanent. Human beings are quite capable of improving their lot. There is no gain in running away from life. It is worthwhile to face it. This view seems to be more acceptable to a rational outlook on life, for almost everyone experiences ups and downs in life, and yet most people still keep going because they are neither made complacent by the good side nor morbid by the gloomy side of life. The highest good. From the theories on worth of living, the discussion now passes on to the question as to what is summum bonum, the highest good. There are two main positions taken by philosophers. These are known as hedonism and perfectionism. Hedonism. The hedonist believe that the highest is pleasure. In such a state, intense pleasure momentarily felt by an individual, or a highly refined and sublime pleasure of contentment, may be left by him. The momentary pleasure can be physical, emotional, or even intellectual gratification of basic needs, love, and creative work. Contentment is more a question of spiritualism. The hermits in the Vedantic Indian philosophy, Plato philosopher king, the first philosopher king, the Christian mystics, the Sufis in Islam fall into this category. If we broaden the concept of highest good from the individual to society, then the utilitarian can claim to be the followers of hedonism, for they desire the greatest happiness of the greatest number. Jeremy Bentham is the leading utilitarian, and he maintains that only the principle of utility could give a criterion in moral and legislation and lay the foundation of social science. The Marxists claim to have put the principle of greatest happiness of the greatest number into practice in countries like USSR and China. Perfectionism. The second aspect of highest good can be identified in what is called perfectionism, the perfection of the self or real self realization. Recluses, hermits, ascetics fall into this category. But there may also be a social order envisaged to perfectionism, in which an ideal social order is envisaged, the Ram Raj, the concept of the millennium in Christianity, and the establishment of communist society in Marxism. All take society as frame of reference. If you found the video to be informative and interesting, I request you all to please give a like to the video to motivate me, share it for others and subscribe it so that whenever I upload a new video, you will get a notification. The criteria of conduct. Thus, certain criteria for the conduct in life becomes inevitable if the highest good is to be realized. The oldest view is of religions, in which the person is commanded to obey the will of God and the fulfillment of His purpose. Then there are philosophers who believe in universal moral laws, and a person is expected to act on those principles which, as Kant says, are likely to become universal moral laws. The naturalist, like Herbert Spencer, feels that action is right which is conducive to self preservation, whereas pragmatists like John Dewey emphasizes imaginative rehearsal of the possibilities of those actions which a person wants to undertake. The motivation of conduct. The fourth area in the realm of values concerns the motivation behind one, and such motivation falls into two categories: egoism and altruism. Egoism. The very basic motive is related to self and is termed egoism. It merely means that one's action should serve his own interest. The oldest recorded example of ethical egoism is that of Epicureans, who held that each person should conduct his life in such a way as to bring himself the most pleasure. Certain elements of egoism are found in all human actions, although egoism may not always be synonymous with selfishness. Altruism. Opposed to egoism is the value of altruism. Here, the individual does realize his fullest selfhood, but this is done in pursuit of the interest of the others. Great humanitarians of the world were altruists. Jesus, Muhammad, and in more recent time, Gandhi may be mentioned as a few examples of luminaries in this category. Thank you very much for patiently watching the video, and don't forget to subscribe.